Jasmine Michelle's YouTube channel went dark. Videos featuring Youngboy, gone. Family vlogs, gone. Pregnancy content, domestic moments, years of their life together shared with hundreds of thousands of subscribers, wiped. No statement, no explanation. Just an empty channel where a family used to be. The internet immediately decided it knew exactly what that meant. Divorce. She's done. She finally walked away. Here is what actually happened. There was no divorce, no filing, no legal separation, no confirmed proceedings of any kind. In February 2026, Youngboy and Jasmine welcomed their third child together. He announced the pregnancy months earlier in a lyric. They are still married. The story the internet built was wrong from the beginning, but the reason millions of people believed it so completely, and the reason it still circulated as fact long after the clarification, is worth understanding. Because this is not really about a YouTube channel. It is about how a public couple's entire relationship gets consumed, interpreted, and judged by strangers who feel like they know them because they watched the content. So, let's go back to the beginning. Kentrell Deshawn Galden, NBA Youngboy, later rebranded Youngboy Never Broke Again, was born October 20th, 1999 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He grew up without his father, raised largely by his grandmother in conditions that shaped everything about how he moved in the world. What he built from that start is genuinely remarkable. Billions of streams, multiple #1 albums, the most viewed artist on YouTube multiple times over, a loyal fan base that treats his music less like entertainment and more like a lifeline. He achieved all of it while navigating federal weapons charges, house arrest, probation conditions, and more legal scrutiny than most artists survive. The music never stopped. That relentlessness built a following that takes everything involving him personally. His personal life became just as public as his music. By his mid-20s, he had fathered 13 children with multiple women. His relationships with Jana Sima, Yaya Mayweather, and others played out loudly in public. By the time any new woman came into his life, the existing history was enormous. And his audience was already primed with opinions about how his relationships would end. Jasmine Michelle Hayes came from Houston, Texas, the youngest of 7. She had been building her YouTube channel since 2015, beauty, lifestyle, personal vlogs, long before Youngboy's name was ever attached to hers. She was genuine on camera, the kind of creator whose audience stays loyal because she felt real. By the time she became publicly known as Youngboy's partner, she already had over 100,000 subscribers and a following that had grown attached to her as a person, not as a celebrity's girlfriend. The two began dating in 2020. By 2021, they had welcomed a daughter, Alice Nora. Their son, Kentrell, was born in September 2022, with Jasmine documenting the pregnancy on YouTube in the open, honest way she documented everything. Youngboy appeared in her content during this period. Quieter, more domestic than his public image suggested. Visible in the background, present in the way fans rarely got to see. On January 7, 2023, a marriage license filed with the Utah County Clerk confirmed that Jasmine Michelle Hayes and Kentrell Deshawn Galden had gotten married in Salt Lake City. Youngboy had told fans on Instagram Live months earlier that he was getting married and that he had been waiting for this his whole life. No lavish ceremony, no magazine spread, just a real commitment made official in Utah, where he had been building a quieter life. She appeared in his music videos. She was on the cover of his 2022 mixtape, Got It All. He had her name tattooed on him. On his 2023 track, Don't Leave, he rapped about making her his wife and promising they would not grow apart. He posted a family photo captioned simply, "Mine, thank you." These were not the moves of a man performing domesticity for the cameras. They looked like someone genuinely trying to protect something. But Youngboy's history does not disappear because he got married. And the controversies that followed gave the internet exactly what it needed to build a narrative. In May 2026, an influencer named Mellow Rex posted videos to her Instagram story showing her and Youngboy together in what appeared to be a hotel bathroom. He was lip-syncing to a song, she was in the tub. The clip spread immediately. People were not just talking about what they saw, they were talking about Jasmine, about how many times a woman is supposed to look the other way. Mellow Rex eventually deleted the clips. Jasmine said nothing publicly. She kept posting. To a lot of people watching, that silence started to look less like confidence and more like someone holding it together. Then in December 2025, Unverified screenshots began circulating, claiming that Gigi Alla, publicly known as Kai Cenat's girlfriend on Twitch, had been involved with Youngboy in some capacity, with some posts claiming she was pregnant with his child. Youngboy denied it publicly. Gigi denied it publicly, calling the claims disrespectful and fabricated. Youngboy's team reportedly attempted to reach out to Kai Cenat directly. The rumors circulated as confirmed fact anyway. Then came influencer Neek Brown, known from Basketball Wives. A clip surfaced of her sitting in Youngboy's car. The social layer made it hit harder. Neek had been connected to Jana Sima's orbit, and Jana is the mother of one of his children. People labeled it betrayal on top of betrayal. Neek pushed back firmly, denied anything inappropriate, and later released a YouTube video saying people had been sending her messages telling her to take her own life. Youngboy responded on March 1, 2026, by posting a video holding Jasmine's hand, her wearing a noticeably larger diamond ring than the one she had been seen with before. Fans noted that the ring seemed to get bigger with every new controversy. When the YouTube videos disappeared shortly after, every single one of these situations was sitting in the background fully loaded. People did not need to be told what had happened. They already had a story assembled. The deleted channel felt like the final confirmation. Divorce papers. She's done. She finally left. And that story spread exactly the way stories like this always spread. Fast, with emotional logic that felt airtight, and far faster than any correction could follow. Gossip pages ran with it. Commentary channels built full videos around it. Within hours, millions of people had consumed a narrative that had not been verified by a single credible source. The circumstantial case felt complete because every individual piece of it was technically real. The Mello situation happened. The Gigi allegations circulated. The Neek video existed. The YouTube channel genuinely went dark. What was not real was the conclusion tying all of it together. What actually happened with the channel was simpler and more human than the narrative around it. Jasmine made decisions about her own digital presence. She reassessed what she wanted to share publicly. After years of documenting pregnancies, children, and domestic moments in a way that her audience had come to feel entitled to, she chose to pull some of it back. That is a decision any content creator has every right to make without owing the internet a single word of explanation. But in the context of everything else that had been circulating, that decision got read as something it was not. The couple addressed the situation in the way they typically address things, not through press statements, but through their own actions on their own timeline. They remained publicly together, and then in February 2026, they welcomed a third daughter. Youngboy had announced the pregnancy months earlier in a lyric on his July 2025 album, rapping, "Me and Jazz on our third kid." That is not the behavior of a marriage that had been silently dissolving. But most of the people who saw the divorce headlines never saw the clarification. The version of events that spread farthest was the one that was never true. That is how this works. Emotionally triggering content gets amplified. A story about a rapper's wife finally leaving generates clicks in a way that a quiet correction about a couple that stayed together never matches. The algorithm does not know the difference between truth and compelling speculation. It only knows what keeps people on screen. What this situation actually reveals is the specific trap celebrity couples fall into when they let the public this close. Jasmine gave her audience her pregnancies, her children, her quiet domestic moments. That openness built real loyalty. It also built a sense of ownership in her audience that is not the same thing as actually knowing her. People felt they understood the situation because they had watched the content, but the content was always a highlight reel, not a window. There are things that happen between NBA Youngboy and Jasmine Michelle that no YouTube channel will ever show and no comment section will ever know. The divorce the internet declared never happened. What happened was a woman made some choices about her own channel, and the world decided it knew what those choices meant before taking a single moment to find out. NBA Youngboy and Jasmine are still married. They have 3 children together. And both of them continue living their lives while the internet has already moved on to the next story, with most people still carrying the version that was never true. Do you think celebrity couples can ever truly protect their private life once they let the public this close? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this one.